Well, it's been 1 week, and to prove a point that I'm not just the pawn of the Lolly-Lule-Lo, and I'm not just here to complete my mission, I gave the world and the video game 1 week to change, and it didn't. It's just a video game. So we're gonna have to beat up our dad on the top of Federal Hall, as it says. I like that the save file actually says that. I also like that somehow, some way, I saved the game at exactly 11 hours, 1 minute, and 1 second. I couldn't have planned that if I had tried. That's pretty, nutters, and I think it says a lot about society, but let's load our game. Load completed. I didn't talk much about it last time. The game tutorialized it and kind of went over how the sword works. Basically, you use the right stick, and you can use L1 to block. Now, the thing with your slashes is the direction doesn't really matter. He doesn't block in different directions, and you have to get around him. You don't block in different directions. His slashes, it just kind of doesn't really matter much. The other thing that doesn't really matter much is using the non-lethal blade by turning the blade around and hitting the enemy with the blunt side. The only real difference is you can't use the stab attack. And it's kind of funny, like, maybe if you had more time to use the sword. Oh.
What's wrong with you?
Hey, I'm trying to explain the game mechanics. But basically, yeah, being able to choose the direction of the sword slashes and everything, it doesn't really amount to much in this game. It's something they would return to later. But yeah, it's a cool idea for a fight. I like that the camera kind of looks like a fighting game. I like that we're having a samurai sword duel on top of Federal Hall with an ex-president. I guess that's the most American thing ever. I don't know. But it's a little silly gameplay-wise because, yeah, you're kind of just running over to him and, like, slicing wildly. And really, you just wait for him to miss, and then you counterattack. Again, it's a cool idea. It's a fight with a lot of presence. The music here is really cool, and would actually, several of the samples and loops used in it would be used in, I believe, it's either the last or the penultimate fight in Zone of the Enders Second Runner. Another game I should play on stream, because that game also rules. Not much to talk about here. I mean, Saul, this is cool. The fight's alright. It's gonna start a long-standing tradition of Raiden fighting politicians with a samurai sword. But it's a little silly. It's a little silly. It's cool. I like that you get to fight a boss. Oh, sweet, it's raining now. You can block his kicks. But yeah, you just kind of just swing wildly at him. Also, I feel like Raiden is wanting to drift a little bit to the sides. He's not really slashing at Saldus. I don't know. Oh, he punched us with his snake arm. He does kind of juke and jive a little. See, he blocks, but I don't think it really... I don't know. I don't think it really matters. It certainly doesn't matter as much as other games that would come much later. But though this, I guess, was one of the first games that had this kind of swordplay, this kind of directional, choose which way you're slashing. Again, it's fun, it's cool. By the way, this isn't even my final form. Bye, tentacles! So yeah, now, without the excess weight of the snake arms, he's much faster and he just goes all over the place, and also mandatory-ish Kodak call. If you skip it, you're missing a lot of context. So we gotta listen to this guy talk again.
We're not just pawns in some simulation.
Yeah, that's why I stopped playing for a week, but they didn't care.
Mere weapons, no different from fighter jets or tanks.
What the?
I do like this explanation, yes. So they start explaining some of the historical naming convention. I think this is cool.
Same as the code names used by the U.S. Armed Forces to refer to Japanese warplanes
Yep.
during World War II.
Your code name, Raiden, too, comes from the Japanese Navy's name for one of its interceptors.
Stop it! I'm not a weapon.
Oh, really?
I'm not a weapon.
Did you know the
I'm a
code
man.
name of the US Armed Forces
That's why I
for the
carry around a
Japanese
sword
fighter,
and-
Raiden?
It was Jack.
Like, dude's on
Both of you are
Federal
just
Hall.
weapons
I can't
thrown away.
get over. Every time I see Federal
It's on
Hall,
the battlefield.
ever, I'm like, oh my god, it's where
And
Raiden
the
had a
weapon
samurai
has no
sword
right
fight with his
to
bad
think for
dad.
itself. Now, it's time to fulfill your
Yeah, so again, they're saying this, and, like, what am I meant to do? There's not an alternative ending. You know, you literally have to beat him to see the credits, and I don't really like that. And also, yeah, you might think, well, why don't I use my blue sword? You know, to do stamina damage to him, instead of damage. Yeah, that doesn't change anything either. Not even like a single line of dialogue. Doesn't change Solidus's fate. I don't know. I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity from a gameplay perspective, you know? Thematics and all that, but I think if you're gonna drive this home and try and tell the player and try and tell the character you're just a weapon, you can't think for yourself, but then as a video game, as a miniature simulation of the world, not give us another option? I don't know. I think that kind of, I think it kind of misses the mark. Anyway, he is moving around at the speed of sound. He is so fast now. Yeah, you can't block that. It's a Soul Calibur unblockable. They should have put these two in Soul Calibur. That's what they should have done.
Let's go. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, come on. It's a silly fight, Solidus. It's actually kind of easier if you don't use the sword, I found. Like, if you just use the, Well, not if he kicks me. But I've done this just using, punches and kicks. Yeah, it's a little more reliable, of course. That only does stamina damage. But even then, right? What if, it's like, oh, well, you got a different ending for just, like, punching him to death, you know? I should probably eat this ration. You know, just punching him out instead of using the sword. I don't know, something. Even if it was just like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. But no, we're just gonna poke him one last time with our stick. And he freezes up awkwardly, I forgot about that. Another snake bites the dust. This is cool, though. Slow motion samurai action on top of Federal Hall. But see, look. Yeah, severs his spinal column in the cutscene anyway. So, like, what is the player? What is the, you know, is this Raiden doing that? Is he rejecting me wanting? Is he choosing to be a pawn and I cannot stop him? I certainly tried to stop him by not playing the game for a week, but like I said, it's just a video game, man. It's gonna pan out how it pans out. This is a cool scene. Yeah, Solidus was rad. I don't know what he's meant to be saying here. I don't think anyone knows. I don't think it's ever been published, but this is very artsy and dramatic and cool. I think when this game's being a cool action movie, it's at its strongest. And the music. Alright, trivia. Do you remember last time what I said about there being American flags in the scene? Well, Raiden is about to slash at nothing, but he's supposed to be cutting a cord that would... Right now, there's an American flag falling and draping itself over Solidus, and we'll actually see someone remove the flag from him. Of course, the flag is just rendered invisible. I don't know. I know why they took it out, but I feel like it's kind of more respectful to include it than to remove it? Anyway, check it out. It's Federal Hall is rendered on a PlayStation 2. This is the end of the game, by the way. Boy, Metal Gear Solid 2, surely one of the video games of all time. Again, I like it well enough, but it's just... It's got too many small issues for me to really say that I love it. What is that effect happening there? Was that a ghost? I don't remember that. Is that a bug? Is that a Master Collection bug? What is happening there? I don't remember that. Oh no, is the Sorrow here? Is that Solidus's ghost? What is happening? I think it's supposed to be a fog effect, but it's just too strong. I don't know. Anyway, look, Raiden's got dog tags. And there's people who seem to,
No one quite knows
Hey.
who or what they are.
Hi, Snake.
The memories you have and the role you were assigned are burdens you had to carry. It doesn't matter if they were real or not. That's never the point.
Okay. So you're saying video games are cool, and we could learn a lot
There's no
from
such
them.
thing in the world as absolute reality.
Okay, okay.
Most of what they call
By the way,
real
stock
is
footage of New
hallucination.
York. With a weird
What
red
you think you see
toned...
is
It's
only
not
as
quite
real as
sepia
the brain
tone, it's
tells
like
you it is.
red tone.
Then, what am I supposed to believe in? What am I going to leave behind when I'm through?
We can tell other people about having faith. What we had faith in. What we found important enough to fight for. It's not whether you were right or wrong, but how much faith you were willing to have.
Hi, Force.
That decides the future.
Are you the boss's horse?
The Patriots
Oh, that's a
are kind
spoiler
of
for a
ongoing
future
fiction
game
too,
that didn't
come to
exist
think of
yet.
it. Listen, don't obsess over words so much. Find the meaning behind the words, then decide. You can find your own name and your own future.
Okay.
Decide for myself?
I do like this
Whatever you
message.
choose will be you.
You know,
I don't
that
know
you
if I
choose who
can.
you are, your genes don't make you who
I
you
know you
are,
didn't have much in terms of
societal
choices
memes and the
this time.
memes people thrust upon you don't
But
make you who
everything
you
you
are.
felt,
It's your
thought
choices and
about
your
during this
actions. I do
mission
like
is
that.
yours, and what you decide to do with them is your choice.
Again, the overall message of this game I really like.
Start over?
Yeah, a clean slate, a new name.
But
new
I
memories.
just think the journey here is a little weird.
Choose your own legacy.
Especially just starting the game a week later,
It's up to you.
having an awkward samurai duel on top of a landmark, and then,
By the way, what is that?
oh, here we go. Look. So here's what's weird. This is the name I entered. This is my name.
Dog tags.
Look, it says Onika. It's got my birthday, and it knows I'm a male. From New Jersey. So Raiden, hold on.
Anyone you know?
We've been through this journey together
No.
the whole
Never
time.
heard the name before.
No, I'm right here. I'm the guy with the
Pick
controller.
my own name and my own life.
Raiden,
I'll find
listen,
something
before
to
don't tell me what. So it's weird, right? Because oh look, there's the officers removing the flag. You can see him. He's removing an invisible flag, pantomiming.
I know. We've inherited freedom. From
Yeah. So I guess Raiden is throwing away me,
all
the
have
player,
freedom
and
to
my
spread the
choices
word.
I have over
You
him.
and me.
And I guess that's neat.
What about Olga's child?
Don't worry, I'll find him. Count on it.
And her.
As long
Snake
as you keep
babies can
yourself
be
alive,
girls, too.
He's safe.
It's Sunny. We already know that's Sunny. Yeah, so
Do you
Raiden
know
threw
what
away the
liquid
player.
was?
He's going to go make his own life choices,
for the
but
Patriots?
he's about to make a
Yeah,
choice that,
but I
like,
have a feeling they gave Ocelot a
I
bonus
don't
location
agree
to begin
with. And I think doesn't really make much
Cheer
sense.
up. We have a better lead.
And maybe that's it. He's being illogical.
This contains the list of all the
Oh,
Patriots.
but look, Snake.
But Ocelot
Snake's the main
took it.
character.
The one we gave you wasn't the real thing.
He's been in charge the whole time.
What?
This virus is coded to destroy only a specific part of GW, namely the information about the Patriots' identity.
Ah.
Which means that there's a parameter coded in here that defines what that information is.
I get it. Analyze the code and you can probably find out where they operate. Count me in.
No, you have things to do first. people you need to talk to.
It's kind of a shame because, and again, maybe this is the point. I think that I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see a Metal Gear Solid 3 where Raiden and Snake team up to go seek out the Patriots. So maybe that's the point of what Raiden is about to do here that I think is, like, really dumb. We already know these two have a terrible relationship, right? We already know that Raiden is physically abusive and Rose is a bit of a nag. Certainly doesn't deserve physical abuse at all, but still, you know, not an absolute peach angel herself. But the thing is, yeah, Raiden, we don't know how long Rose was actually... We don't know how much of Rose we saw... Oh, hey, Miss Parrot. During the mission was the actual Rose or an AI. We don't know if she was real the whole time. We don't know if the story about her changing her identity and dyeing her hair and everything to suit our needs
Who am I, really?
is good.
I wouldn't know.
And Raiden threw us away.
But we're going to find out together, aren't we?
Oh,
So it kind of feels like he's choosing an illusion. He's choosing fiction over finding the truth. Rather than, man, his hands are so big. And I don't know.
See me
I
for
just
what I am,
simply
okay?
do not like that. Now, the original version, Rose was meant to have blonde hair here. I guess to explain that she had changed parts of her identity. And of course, she's touching her stomach there because she's pregnant. So,
Do you
like,
remember this
that
place?
part, I guess, was real.
course.
But it's weird, right?
This
Because
is
it's
where we
like,
first met.
Raiden,
I
you're
remember
picking,
now.
you're choosing
Today is
something
the
that
day
we've
I
already
met you.
established might not be real.
That's it.
And I guess the idea is, well, he's choosing the illusion for himself, and what's real doesn't matter, but I don't know. I don't think that is good. Like, I disagree with the thesis statement of this game for Raiden's character, which is, well, you know, a lie is better for him
I think
if
I found
it's,
something to pass along to the future.
What?
if it's convenient.
He said all living things want their genes to live on.
Are you talking about the baby?
The Babby,
Yeah.
that too, I hate. It's
The
like,
genes
didn't
aren't
we
the only
establish?
thing you pass on.
Yeah, so he's
There are
saying,
too many things
yeah,
that
genes aren't the only thing you
into
pass
our
on.
DNA.
You can pass
It's
on
up to
more.
us
But
to teach that to our
Raiden
children.
is still refusing to acknowledge his past. So is he really throwing us, the player,
ideas,
away and
our
becoming his own
culture,
man? Or is this just a really, like,
compassion.
I don't know, like,
joy.
hey, sorrow
We're
and
telling
joy.
everything together.
Yeah, like,
that
is he
a
really
proposal?
acknowledging
This is
himself?
For your ears.
And, hey, I don't think I can play this song, which sucks because it's really good. So I'm going to talk over the opening notes, and we're just going to play something else that we played before. Because, yeah, I don't think we can actually play this song, which sucks because I really like the song. It's really good. It works. It sounds like the ending theme of a big, cool movie and all that. Yeah, Audio Jungle! Yeah, man, I just don't know. I think I disagree with that ending for Raiden, and as it would turn out, you know, so did everyone else. That he doesn't go off and live happily ever after with Rose. He doesn't get to leave battle. He picks up the blade again, and I guess that's, you know, I think that works better. Like I said, a lot of Metal Gear games are basically essays. And oftentimes I just disagree with the content. I disagree with the thesis statement. Now, we're going to get a little more dialogue, kind of reiterating what Snake said about passing on things that are outside of our DNA, the importance of media, preserving history. And I agree with all that stuff. I just don't think that Raiden choosing essentially an illusion that's convenient for him is really a good message to put forward. Especially after all the time that Snake spends, you know, telling him to find the truth for yourself and fight like hell for it. I don't know, I think it's just sort of a dangerous precedent to set, especially since so much of this game delves into, like, government censorship conspiracy theory. But that's a tangent for another time, or never. Again, overall, I like the game. I think it's really cool. But going with the theme of preserving the past and letting us read all of our messy history, you know, unaltered. Don't rewrite the past. Look at the past and use its lessons to form a better future. Make no mistake, this is a messy game. And when it came out, it was known as a messy game. People liked the overall gameplay. The graphics were phenomenal. I mean, PlayStation 2 games did not look like this at the time. No video game looked like this at the time. The cutscene direction, the voice acting, all of it was top-notch. And again, the core game mechanics, also top-notch. Video games did not play like this back then. But the insistence on switching up the main character, which didn't really bother me, necessarily. I always like multiple player characters. But the insistence to switch up the main character, the insistence on lengthy cutscenes and codecs with very, very meager amounts of gameplay in between that oftentimes were tantamount to side quests. Go defuse this bomb, go do a escort mission. We didn't really get a lot of time to spend with Metal Gear Solid 2. I mean, looking at my recordings, yeah, it's mostly cutscene, man. It is mostly cutscene. The ratio of cutscene to gameplay is minuscule. It's not even 50-50. It's like maybe 20% gameplay once we get into Big Shell. It's rough. But again, the music, the aesthetics, the gameplay, there's so much good here. But with what Snake says about keeping the history alive, no matter how messy it is, letting people see the truth of the Salami Studios, the truth of our past, yeah, look at this game for what it is. Look at the game for what it was. You can like a lot of the themes, you can like a lot of the messages, but don't rewrite the past. Don't pretend it's this flawless masterpiece that all comes together expertly. Enjoy it, but see it for what it is, a bit of a mess, and see it for what it is, a bit of a failed experiment, because there are 3 games that are made under the premise of, I am so sorry for Metal Gear Solid 2, we should not have done that. One of them is, as I mentioned before, Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, which has, you know, is a re-release of MGS2 with a ton of extra content, primarily VR missions, alternative missions, and Snake Tales. And then, of course, there's Twin Snakes, which we'll be playing next. And then Metal Gear Solid 3, which was a true sequel. So there's 3 games that are admissions of, yeah, stuff here was a little weird, because they go out of their way to add more gameplay, more Snake, better ratio of cutscene to gameplay. They observed the past, they observed its mistakes, they made a better future by releasing subsequent games that had more of what people liked. I don't know. I think it's just a bit of... It's like you're missing the forest for the trees if you think this game is a flawless masterpiece. In my eyes. Of course, you know, part of the theming of the game is to find the truth for yourself, to find a life that you want to live and things that you find important. If you think this game is really the most important thing ever, the most meaningful piece of subversive media, then good for you. You know, I invite that. We might not see eye to eye, but hopefully we can agree to the notion that our points of view should both be preserved. That, you know, we should be able to have these discussions over. Some people think all of the janky, weird stuff is intentional to prove a point. Other people like me go, but I like the good stuff. I want more of the good stuff. But like I said, you know, the game's a quarter of a century old at this point. Time has continued to flow, and luckily we would get more of the good stuff, and we would also get more of the weird stuff. The stuff that maybe I don't like so much how it was done here, but was still... Oh. I think we're going to get a little bit more. The stuff that was conceptually interesting. Metal Gear Solid 2, still quite like it. Even despite all of its weirdness and flaws and silly things.
Life isn't just about passing on your genes.
Here's the most poignant thing in the
We can
game, though,
leave
the
behind
speech.
much more than just DNA. Through speech, music, literature, and movies.
And video
we've
games.
seen, heard,
Don't forget video games,
felt,
Snake. You're in one right now.
Anger, joy, and sorrow. These are the things I will pass on. That's what I live for. We need to pass the torch and let our children read our messy and sad history.
Read our
by
messy and
light.
sad history. Maybe some of MGS2 is just designed a
We
little
have all the
poorly.
magic of the digital age
And
to
we do.
with.
That's why I'm streaming this for you. I'm using the magic of the
The
digital
human
age
race
to
will
tell
probably
people,
come to
hey,
an end sometime,
please,
and new species may rule over
please
this
play
planet.
Metal Gear Solid 2 for
Earth may
yourself.
not
Don't
be
just look at
forever.
that squirrel. That is
We still have
a
responsibility to
northeastern
make what
U.S.
choices of
squirrel.
life we
Those things
can.
are outside of my house all day.
Building the future and keeping the past alive.
Yeah.
One and the same thing.
But like I said, even though I like this game, I still have real tangible problems with it. And as I stated early on, I hope you're watching these because you're a fan of the series and you want to see someone else who's a fan of the series play it. If not, the message is a little late now, but please play the games for yourself and find out what about them you like. Anyway, let's shut the hell up because we're going to get some cool line drops
I
here.
finished going over that disc.
Oh, some info,
find
yeah? The
the
Patriots?
Patriots
Oh,
Of
sequel
course.
setup?
It contains the personal data of 12 people.
Yeah, the Wiseman's
There was
Committee.
a name on it. Snake, it was one of our biggest
Huh?
contributors.
What's going on around here?
I don't know.
Anyway, where are they?
Well, we were right about them being on Manhattan.
Okay.
But what?
They're already dead. All 12 of them.
When did it happen?
Well, about 100 years ago.
Oh my god.
What the hell?
Yep. That'll come into play later, in a later game. Hey, let's look at our data here. Yep. Not very great. We didn't do too well, but that's fine. That's fine. And that is it for Metal Gear Solid 2. We got the codename Elephant, and we got the trophy a cut above. Now, they would have had a code there you could have put in to get a global ranking, but that part of the website has since been removed. Oh, you got a camera. You can use it in the tanker episode. Cool. We also got a camera. You can use it in the plant episode. Cool. And we'll save our clear data. And there is much more we can unlock. Maybe I'll do that at a future date, but for now, we can't say goodbye to yesterday, but we can say goodbye to Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Truly one of the video games of all time.